You currently locked in to season 3 of the Porch podcast. It's your boy, B. Jones, aka Bolo, and you know when I'm pulling up to the porch, I can't pull up without my dog.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Big Smitty, aka D Nice, and you heard what my boy Bolo just said. This is the Porch. Welcome.
Let's get it.
Started on the porch, that was where it all began. Had to put in work, every day we got it in. We chased all our dreams and now they can't believe it. We make it look easy, we achieving everything we need. Now we undefeated.
Yes, sir. I see you repping the Bears right now, heavy.
Come on now.
Justin Fields?
Hey, it's our time. Bear down.
Our time to do what?
Stand up. See, this is the thing, Porch family. People ain't never riding with you when you ain't doing the greatest. They just expect you to be, a championship team or a team that lost in the playoffs and, coming back. We didn't make the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? But a part of being a part of that fan base is riding with the team, good or bad. All right. So we experienced some bad things, more recently, but hey, a part of being a true fan is riding that wave regardless. And
I respect that.
Every year I'm getting it. Hey, every year I'm getting into it that the Bears is going to the dance, and that's what it is. Come on now.
It's the difference between riding for your team and lying, though. That's just a lie.
Here we go.
Going to what dance? The school dance? The homecoming dance?
It's do or die for my man Jay Fields up in Chicago. He got a show out for us. All right. We didn't put together a lot of receivers. All right. Together to get him to have him throwing the ball to those guys. He gonna do what he needs to do in the pocket. All right, defensively, we need to put some things together, but overall, we gonna be okay. We are going to be okay.
Yeah, that's literally what y'all gonna be. Okay, like y'all gonna win 8 games this season. Y'all gonna go 8-9. Okay, season. You know what I'm saying?
8-9.
Borderline playoffs.
You can't go 9-8.
8-9. I gotta give you 8-9. Hold on, though. More important topic. What you got in your hand right now, Bolo?
Hey y'all, I'm so happy right now. Look, so I'm not the biggest McDonald's fan. I used to be a big McDonald's fan growing up, but I had to stop by McDonald's and give me an orange hot C. All right. Long summer night, y'all. Go ahead and pull up and get you a large fry and a large hot C. Hit the spot. They didn't even throw me on the sponsorship on McDonald's, though. That just made you want to get a hot C, didn't it?
It did. Like I want it right, and I want that large, that large fry when it's fresh and hot.
When it's hot, when they fresh.
You don't need no ketchup or nothing. If you want it, cool, but you don't need no sauce. Do it right now, Bolo. Hold on. I'm gonna put you on the spot. McDonald's just called and said they need an ad right now from you. How you gonna do it right now?
Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? It's a summer night. Go ahead and come through our drive-thru and get you a large fry with a large hot C. $203 with tax. McDonald's. We love to see you smile.
Oh, sign my boy right now. Give him that bag. He need that bag right now.
Hey, out the gate. Look, I'm impromptu with it. Look, I'm just boom. One take,
Jake. Our partners at Bet Online continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, including updated odds on NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? Bet Online is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV, BELIEVE, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts.
God is good. Hey, we get into the show. Obviously, every time we get into the show, y'all, we got to let y'all know that God is good. We will not be out here, all right, doing what we need to do. You will not be listening in if it wasn't for our Heavenly Father, okay? But we always going to thank God. We always going to thank God.
Got to, man. God is. I wake up every single morning. He followed me on Twitter, y'all. If you've been following me on Twitter since probably 2012, I would say, almost every single morning, I've been tweeting out, God is great. I might have missed 2 days by mistake, but God is great. First thing I do every single morning, man. So come on, bro. We gotta do that. But nah, I'm excited, bro. You told me, man, let's get straight to it, man. I'm hyped today. We missed last week. You told me we had a fire topic of the day. So I'm about to throw the ball to you and let you go ahead and let us know what's the topic of the day, Bolo.
Man, the topic of the day is change. Okay, change. All right. So before we get into it, gonna break it down for you with change, right? So we all know it's a part of life. It's something that we either have to get through or something that we have to, do in order to acquire something new, right? So the best analogy that I can give you guys for change is like your filters on Snapchat, right? So every time you go somewhere, your filters change, right? You go to LA, you go to Chicago, you go to Detroit, the filters change specifically to that state or to that area that you're in, right? So that's the same thing with change in general, right? So you may have some of those same filters stay the same. So we're talking about friends, we're talking about your routines. You may have some things stay the same, but for the most part, things will change, right? So we got to make sure that we stand locked in and we're open to a different routine, or we open to allowing new friendships to come in. Are we open to letting some friendships go? Because sometimes when you riding down that paddle boat, if you taking in so much information and you're not giving it out, or you're not giving stuff away, then what you're going to eventually do, you're going to sink. Right. So it's important for us to just be open to change, open to the ability to be receptive to something different, because that's the only way we're going to grow. Right. So, with that being said, talking about change, what are the different ways of change, right? When people think about change, people think about things that are negative. People think about things that are positive. For me, when I'm thinking about change, I'm always thinking about, more of like a routine, right? More of like a mindset switch here. So I'm just trying to tap into the Porch family and y'all brains and what y'all thinking about when it comes to change. Because, it comes a situation where, you grow up and you thought that friend of yours was going to always be your friend, or you thought that routine that worked for you was always going to be that routine that worked for you. And then you look 5, 6, 7 years down the road, and then now things are completely different. Right. So is change something that, I know it's something that we have to do, right? Or is change something that we have to do?
In order to be successful, yes, change is something that you must do, because there's no way that you can go through life, your entire life, and just be in one path. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about anything specific. You mentioned friendships, relationships, career, just habits. Right now I'm going through a change in my day-to-day, my workout plan and how I'm eating, trying to lose weight. It's like the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing, expecting different results. So in order for me to change, if I want to lose weight, if I want to reach these certain goals, I have to change the way I'm eating, change the way I'm working out, do things that might feel uncomfortable in the moment, but later on, I know it's going to benefit me greatly. Same thing with career. Obviously, you guys, you've been following the Porch from the beginning. Me and Bolo used to work at the same company initially. I got an opportunity. I left Indianapolis, packed my bags, 2-week notice, came out here by myself. I literally knew one person in LA. My wife stayed. My wife is my wife now. She's my girlfriend at the time. Stayed back in Indy. I came here by myself, no furniture, nothing. That was change. Was it an easy decision? No, it wasn't. I was nervous. I've been to LA one time. But looking back now, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. But it was change. So I think you hit the nail right on the head, man. Like when you're going through life, there's certain circumstances and scenarios where you have to change. Otherwise, I'll say this. I'm not gonna say you have to change, but if you don't change, you won't reach the levels that I think you could reach.
Got you. So have you ever seen someone in a situation where maybe their first strategy worked or their first routine worked and they stuck with it and they became successful? Because you look at it sometimes, and I get it. We look at, different articles, we look at Instagram videos or motivational speakers, and they talk about getting it out the mud and changing up a routine. And, sometimes they give you that crazy story of how like somebody overcame this much adversity to transition their lives and things like that. But realistically, right. There's some situations where people may or may not have to do much to be successful, right? Why do you think people are afraid of change, you think?
I think it comes down to comfort. You know what I'm saying? I think we get comfortable in what we're used to. We get comfortable in our environment. We get comfortable with our friendships. We get comfortable with our eating habits, whatever that category is. You just get comfortable and it feels safe. You know what I'm saying? Change isn't safe because there's no guarantees with change, regardless of what area that is. You could change and you're hopeful. You're hoping for the best. You're wishing the best. You might change your friend group, drop this relationship to try to get another one. But there's no guarantees that next one's going to be any better than the last one, or that next career move going to be better than the last one. So it's the fear of the unknown. And that's where people like you and I who believe in a higher power, that's where that faith comes in at. I know everyone listening may not, believe in a higher power. Everyone free to have your own beliefs, but that's for me personally. That's what helps me out when I'm making a change, and I'm human. So you're naturally going to be nervous and unsure, but when you believe in that higher power and you pray over it, and that's just where the faith comes in at, and you have to it's just a feeling of knowing that that's the right move to make. So that's what helps me out. But I would say overall, the reason why I think us as humans are just naturally afraid of change, nervous, hesitant, is because it's out of your comfort zone.
Facts. And that's ideal. That's the same way I'm thinking about, especially with like millennials too. When change happens, I think it's just the thought process of understanding that nothing will ever be the same.
Yeah.
Right. So like if I'm in the process right now and something working and then somebody tells me I have to switch it, I just know now moving forward, it will never be this way. Or, if I'm moving away from my friends, or, somebody passes away, right? Even different hardships require different change. I think change is hard. And I think it's just the ability to realize that nothing will ever be the same or the way that it was. Even with like friendships, right? Everybody had those friendships that were strong, solid, maybe elementary school all the way to high school. And you grow old now and you take your different path, and then you reconnect with that person. The friendship isn't the same. It doesn't hold the same weight. It doesn't probably have the same value as it once did in the past. So I think for a lot of us, people are like holding on to what is because they're scared of what will be. And sometimes that what will be will probably leave somebody out of the picture, right? So for me, I thought the topic of the day was so important because I was just thinking about it so much. So many people, especially millennials, and we get into it, and, we working, we grinding, we doing so many things, just not being afraid of change and switching things up, and, feeling like people got to be your friend forever. I'm just a big fan of just people, I call it pit stop friends, right? You stop at a pit stop in life, you chat it up, you build relationships, that person is there to give you that energy, that space, or what you need in that time. But when that bus comes and it's time to go to that next stop, then that person either can get on the bus or they can stay. And that just means God left them there for them to be that temporary pit stop, for them to chat it up with you, get you to where you're going so you can get back on that bus and keep moving. Right. So that's just the biggest game that I heard and I want to share with you guys about change, because change is always happening. It's always happening. Something that you're doing one day is probably something that you won't do the next day. Right. So we always got to continue to flip the script. And that's how we get better.
Facts, man. Facts. And thanks for bringing that topic of the day. That's probably my favorite topic of the day so far. I ain't gonna lie. Since we started this segment, that's probably my favorite one, man. We started the show off with a deep topic, a topic that I think is necessary. And y'all let us know in the comments, man, the reviews. What's your opinion about change? Do you like it? Does it make you nervous? What's your opinion? We want to hear from you, man. But let's transition to our sports topics right now. We're gonna start off with the NFL, where first topic here, a little bit on the downside, I would say, or the negative side with the Deshaun Watson case. Obviously, unless you guys have been living under a rock, we've heard about the allegations and the 60-something masseuses he's had over the last few years, and it's been crazy. But his original suspension was only 6 games. The NFL, said that they were going to, basically look into it and decide they wanted to extend it. And they did. Earlier this morning, the suspension was increased to 11 games, and also his fine was increased to $5 million, which is the largest in NFL history for a player fine. And actually, Deshaun and his team has agreed and settled with the league prior to the final ruling from the arbitrator. So I'll ask you this, Bolo: do you believe that this punishment by the league was fair?
I think that that's a tough question, bro. And I'm not trying to,
take offense,
piss anybody off with this, but I think he did what he did. I think it was completely wrong. However, the situation may have happened or how the intent may have looked, it was bad, especially with so many people coming forward. So definitely want to say that like my hearts go out to, those people who experienced that type of hardship and, that in that specific situation. I think it was definitely granted probably just because, I mean, the NFL, people would have came down on NFL had they not, made a decision. And, there's a lot of people who think that Deshaun Watson shouldn't even be in the league. So, with that being said, and getting so much, just feedback from just people around the country about what they should do with Deshaun Watson, I think it was only right at that time to penalize him, the most that you can, because I feel like, at the end of the day, like he's already had strike 3, so now it's like a drop third strike now, right? So he's pretty much struck out, but there's still a bit of chance for him to get on base here. And I think from Deshaun Watson's point of view, I think they like, okay, obviously this is the highest fine that, anybody's paid in the league, but I just want to play football. So let me just try to wipe my hands clean of it so I can just start a clean slate and get out here and play football. So I just think that's just one of the things where the NFL and, Deshaun Watson's team come together and, compromise to get that done. And hopefully moving forward after 11 games, he could finally move forward. But with that being said, now that puts him 2 to 3 years away from, what he used to do. Obviously, he did play in the preseason just a little bit, but in season game speed and moving at that rate efficiently and consistently definitely will play a factor in that. So I'm just curious to see how things will pan out when he comes back week 12. And it's like, okay, what do we do with him? What if the Browns quarterback who will step in starts the ball and they're above 500 at week 12, right? What do we do? Do we just slip this guy in who hadn't played in 11 weeks, be rusty, trying to get acclimated again? So I'm very curious to see how, it'll pan out just for his livelihood in the league.
Nah, you make some good points there, Bolo. And for me, I guess to answer the question directly, I do think it was fair. The punishment was fair. 11 games, $5 million suspension. There's people saying that they thought he should have been suspended the entire season. Right. I don't necessarily disagree with it. Like if it would have happened, I wouldn't have been like, oh my God, he didn't deserve that. No, it would have been granted. I just knew that it had to be more than an original punishment, which was 6 games.
Yeah.
In my mindset behind that is that 6 games, and you look at their schedule, and I don't have it pulled up with me right now, but I know there were some very winnable games, even with their backup quarterback starting, who was Jacoby Brissett, by the way, who we know is a solid like backup. He's there for the coach. He can win some games. He's a veteran guy, and with the pieces around him, they could have started those first 6 games off maybe 4-2, 3-3. So by the time Deshaun comes back, it's like he wasn't really affected. The Browns really wasn't effective, and they could still make a good run. Now, with him being suspended 11 games, realistically, like this season's probably a wash. You know what I'm saying? Agree. Especially in the AFC North, you got the Ravens coming back healthy. The Bengals just went to the Super Bowl. The Steelers have never missed the playoffs since Coach Mike Tomlin has been there.
Always above 500.
Always above 500. So it's one of those things where it's like, I felt like the punishment had to be something to where it actually hit Deshaun and it hit the Browns. And now I feel like this 11 game, $5 million fine is something that actually did it. And I think, like you said, just based upon the numbers, regardless of what your opinion is on, what went down in those massage rooms, whatever, right. we know he was moving wrong. Regardless of what you believe, he was moving wrong. It wasn't good conduct. It wasn't positive. So he needed to be punished. And I think this is a reasonable punish. To hop on what you said as well, I think Deshaun and his team is ready to move past it. So that's why they agreed to it so abruptly, because there were thoughts that like, hey, Deshaun and his team could, fight back against this and prolong this case and, all this. And he's like, no, you know what? I agree with it. Let's just move on, move forward. So, hopefully, he learns from this and beyond just the football that, he off the field, he's able to just learn and just become even a better man, off the field. He's able to learn from this mistake. So
Facts. And it's so crazy to me. And I'm not rich. I hopefully I'll get rich. I'll put that out there, right? But
You will.
you make all this money and you're so successful. I still never can get over the fact of how people always go down that dark road when you're rich, you're famous. Like, just to me, and maybe I'm naive, I'm ignorant to that world, but like I feel like you can have anybody you want. You know what I mean? The way you want. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, right.
For so many people to come forward and, for him to be put in those situations time and time again, I'm like, dude, what is going on? Like, what is literally going through your brain to continue to go down this same cycle? Like, it's like some type of like fetish or some type of
that's what it is.
Thing that he has to like get off. But I'm like, bro, you got so much money, bro. You can go ahead and get you somebody and role play and make that happen, bro. And stay out the way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it always bothers me when I see all these famous people kind of get into situations like this, where I know it's so many different women or so many different people throwing themselves at them in a lot of different angles where they could just, go, and make their move. And, it'll be consensual on both ends. And
right.
Good to go.
Nah, that's facts, man. And like you always hear that, money doesn't change you. It just shows, who you are. Who you really are. Right. So just because you're rich, it don't mean that you're gonna change it. Now you have the power and access to do what you really want to do. And yeah, I mean, let's just call a spade, man. He just went on. He a freaky dude at the end of the day. Like and like like I said, I don't, again, I don't know what actually went down, consensual, not consensual, so I can't speak on that. None of us were in those rooms, but we can say this: Deshaun is a freaky dude, man. And hey, I feel you. It's like, bro, there's different routes, there's different ways where you could have accomplished that in a safe space, everything consensual. Yeah. Come to your house, like it could have been some, like you could have got that done, but I don't know, man. Like maybe that's just the fetish that he has, or what he was on. So hopefully he's able to move past that. And yeah, man, wish the best for all parties involved.
Yes. Because we do know at the end of the day, he's a hell of an athlete. Very exciting to watch. So hopefully he could, get past this. He sounds sincere in his apologies as far as what he was saying. So it is what it is. And I'm glad, obviously they are hitting them, where it hurts, obviously the pockets, and, hopefully that could start to, reconcile different, feelings, whatever. And we can just move forward, and hopefully he's staying out of those massage parlors.
Please, though. Don't go. He should even walk past the massage.
You better get you a foam roller. You better get you a roller. You better get you a
tennis ball, trigger point.
Do all that yourself, young man.
He better not. He can't even go to the damn training room. He can't get no ice or nothing. He don't. Yes. He got a stress. I'm about to flame his. What do you look like? Big head.
Then went back. They stressed him out.
Line back like he got a 5 head. But let's move on to a topic that might not make you happy, Bolo. Bears star linebacker Roquan Smith recently requested a trade. As a huge Bears fan, I'm just asking straight up, what was your reaction when you saw the news, man?
Man, I want to hear it. Bro, I was disappointed, bro. I was very disappointed. Just
in who? In the Bears or Roquan?
No, I was disappointed in the head office, the organization.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because what I've learned about Roquan, I think he's a good dude. I don't obviously know him personally, but I just, go off of what I see in the media and, other players and people have always spoke highly of him. And for me, in my opinion, he's one of the top, linebackers in the NFL right now, statistically, and he's very consistent at what he does. So, why not, treat your one of your best players like the man that he is. He felt like he was underappreciated, undervalued. They wasn't, really, taken to him. And the relationships just went sour with the head office and him. And, he requested a trade. And think about the media and in football, once you put that statement out and everybody sees it, I definitely think it ruins the locker room in some sort of fashion. So you will never really go back to what you were. So if he puts that article out there, that statement about how he's feeling about the program and how he wants to lead the organization, that puts a taste in, even the teammates' mouth. So even if, they want him to stay and they're going to fine him if he doesn't practice and all that stuff, even if he does get back to the point where he's playing with the Bears, I don't think that camaraderie will be where it was before he put that statement out. So I think with his mind, he's like, I know my teammates will see it, and I know things will never be the same in that locker room. So he took that risk to put it out. Furthermore, that shows us that he's really looking to leave. So somebody's not doing their job just because, bro, we lost Knicks, then we
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack away to the Chargers.
Allen Robinson.
So I'm very confused to, all the things that we're doing because it's not really making sense. I get it. It's chess pieces and different moves, and they talk about a rebuild year and things like that. But, just like Chicago teams, man, and my Chicago listeners know from the Chicago Bulls to the Chicago, the Cubs, and also to my Chicago Bears, they always seem to make dumb moves in the head office, all the time. So I really don't get, the thought process behind it. I know it pissed me off. So hopefully we can see him in a Bears uniform, and hopefully it doesn't tarnish the relationships he has with people in the locker room. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, man, I saw that. I was kind of surprised. I'm like, come on, Bears. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to bring that up as well. The players that they've already lost. You lost Khalil Mack, who was like one of your big-time stars. Like you said, you lost Allen Robinson, who I know dealt with injuries, so he's a little back and forth, but still one of your star players will kind of become one of those veterans on your team. And now Roquan Smith, who is still a very young guy. So even if you're thinking about a rebuild, why not rebuild and center it around Roquan Smith? He's one of the best linebackers in the league. And you think about the Bears, man, you think about defense, you think about the 85 Bears, you think about Brian Urlacher.
Identity. That's who we are.
That's who you are. And you have one of those guys who's physical. So he's not just some linebacker who just, can cover the field left to right. He does that, but he wants that contact.
Too.
He's gonna hit you in your mouth. So you got a dog at middle linebacker who wants to play there, and you're not paying him. Like, the thing about it is that we're past that in this league now, man. Like, what one team won't do, another team will. So you can't be cheap nowadays. You got to play your players. You got to pay your stars, by the way. Your big stars have to get paid, because if you don't, somebody else will, man. And he's earned it. I mean, he got ranked this year in the top 100 best NFL players by his peers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like you said, the stats don't lie in terms of sacks and total combined tackles. He's a staple on the Chicago Bears team, and you have a young team. You're building around Justin Fields. You want to be able to have a strong defense to where you're not putting so much on Justin Fields in year two. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully they figure it out, man. But I had to ask you your opinion as our Bears fan here on the porch, bro. I know you saw that and was like, what is going on?
And it's funny you said that. I was just reading something. I think this morning they were talking about, like, shout out to, like, Derwin James.
Oh, yeah.
Highest paid safety.
Big bag.
Chargers threw the bag at him. They say, hey, he's a leader on the team. He's making plays for us. That's a guy we want around. Let's pay him. Similar story to the Bears, right? This guy's making plays. He's an impact in the locker room and on the field. Why not take care of this man?
And he's a guy who has a history of being injured for full seasons.
Exactly.
And they still threw him the bag.
He made a Pro Bowl, had a good year this past year. And from that work alone, they decided to pay that man. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it always comes back to the head office, bro. I would never blame the players just because, I just seen, so much consistency with the head office making the wrong moves that I know that it probably is like 85%, their issue as to why he's looking to transition. Because he said, hey, he even said in his statement that I love the Bears. I love, the defensive mentality that, the Bears, organization has always been surrounded by since the 85 Bears and, things like that. And, how can you not want somebody who, loves, just the history of the Chicago Bears? Like something they must have done to really piss him off, to put him in that type of space. So.
Nah, for sure, man. For sure. So we'll see what happens, man. But, hey, Roquan, if you want a team that's not scared to pay their players,
man.
You want a team who's trying to actually make the playoffs and potentially win a Super Bowl, a team that supports their stars.
Don't go to the Colts.
Come to the Colts.
Don't go to the Colts. Shout out to the Colts, though, man. Shout out to Nate Ollie.
Come on,
boy, holding it down, D-line coach for the Colts right now. The Colts cool, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I ain't gonna hate. Even though I'm a Bears guy, I'm not gonna hate on your Colts. I think the Colts have been in a position to be very successful, especially in their division. With how many people they have in their division, as far as them coming out of that division and being able to win. Specifically, obviously the Bears. We got the Green Bay Packers, right? So,
right,
one of the toughest teams, in the league, I would say, to always go against, especially if you're playing at Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers. But when I'm looking at, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Titans, which is a pretty tough team. I think that the Colts will match up pretty well against all of those teams playing at home or playing at their location too. So, shout out to the Colts, but I know the Colts just, they have a problem with some consistency and being able to finish when it's time to finish.
That was Carson Wentz. We got Matt Ryan. We got the veteran in. We got the former MVP. We good now. And reason why I brought up my Colts before we transition, the Colts, we pay our stars. You saw the maniac Darius Leonard who wants to now go by Shaquille. So Shaquille Leonard, we pay him that big bag, 5 years, $99.2 million with $52.5 million guaranteed. So middle linebacker, young guy, star, had some minor injuries, nothing too serious. But you see, our star linebackers, Roquan, they get paid over here in Naptown.
But that's a head office move, though. That's a head office move.
That's all I'm gonna say, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, we don't really need no middle linebacker, but I know, the maniac can play outside. We can put Roquan in the middle. We can make something happen. We can make it shake, baby. Anyway, man, let's transition to a big NBA topic where LeBron and the Lakers agreed to a 2-year, $97.1 million extension with a 3rd-year option, making LeBron the highest-paid player in NBA history, earning $532 million in guaranteed money over the course of his career. Shout out to Bron, man, getting that big bag. Let me ask you this. And, Bo, I know you're not the biggest NBA guy in the world, but do you think LeBron will bring LA another championship before he retires?
Yes. I do believe that. I do think LeBron James will bring the city of Los Angeles another ring. I say that just because.
Why is that, Bo?
I say that just because I don't think he's showing really any signs of like slowing down as far as him physically being capable of, playing a full season. So for me, with his leadership ability, with his athletic ability, it's just about now starting to build the pieces around him for him to be successful. And obviously that sand is starting to come out of the clock now where he's on borrowed time now, where he won't have forever to do that. But I think within like the next, maybe 1 or 2 years, I think he will get to a strong place where, the last couple seasons, he's continued to, put different pieces together to figure out what works, what doesn't work. Obviously he did get a championship here a couple years ago as well, but things have changed since then. So, with that, just the back and forth of just all of the other people, his supporting cast, just kind of going back and forth. It's just a shit show, man. So once that starts to clear up a little bit, and he gets some other key players in there to play, not taking nothing against Russell Westbrook. I don't know if he'll be a part of Lakers or not, but I'm just saying get some more consistency with some other supporting members of the Lakers team. I think they'll get there. I just think last year, man, was a shit show. We didn't get anything out of Westbrook. We didn't get anything out of, any of the supporting players either. And, I think Russell Westbrook, if he does become a Laker again, he will not have the same year that he did last year. So I think off the rip, they can only do nothing but go up based upon what they looked like last year. So we'll see.
I'm a Lakers fan, and I do not believe LeBron will bring the Lakers another championship. I mean, yes, I agree with you. To this point, LeBron has not shown too many signs of him decreasing in talent, athletic ability. The only sign is just he's been injured more the last few years than any point of his career. So that's the only sign of the old age. But when he's on the court, I mean, the man is still special.
Yeah. But
I don't think him alone is enough. I think the Lakers at this point, man, they need more. They need more depth. They need more from their second star, which is Anthony Davis, who always gets hurt. Always gets hurt.
Down,
like I don't wish injury on nobody. And I'm not trying to put that in the air, but it's almost like it's not even a question of if, it's like when at this point.
Whenever he drives to the hole, there is a 90% chance that he will hit the ground.
Every time he falls, I'm just nervous. He falls a lot. So, and I just feel like LeBron, I will say this. LeBron isn't the exact same LeBron today that he was, 5-6 years ago. So we have seen some decline over the years, but he's still great. He's still a top 10 player in the league. Some could argue top 5, give or take. But he's not a guy who could just do it himself. He can't carry the load by himself. So in order for them to even have a chance, Anthony Davis has to be healthy for majority of the season and when it matters the most. Westbrook will be on the team to start the season for sure. They're talking about possible trades, bringing in Kyrie, all that. But even in the event that happens, I still don't believe it's enough because not just because of the Lakers, it's because of the competition. I'm going to be real. The LA Clippers are dangerous. They were balling last year. Kawhi was out all last season. Paul George was back and forth playing hurt.
Seen him in the gym too.
And yes, he had. He's been in the gym grinding. And the Clippers still almost made the playoffs last year with all their role players. So that just shows you the type of depth that they have on their bench. Now you got Kawhi coming back fresh, Paul George coming back fresh. They still have the same depth. Bro, they're going to be dangerous. They have everything they need to win the championship as long as they stay healthy. Not to mention the Golden State Warriors, who just won the championship. They just did it again. They went to 5 straight championships, won 3, had a 2-year layoff because of injuries, KD leaving, etc. Finally got back healthy and went and won another ring. So, there's no signs that's showing me anything about Golden State taking a step back. If anything, I think they're going to be better because of the young guys that they got who are going to continue to develop. You got Wiseman, a guy who got hurt, and he was a top pick. Wiseman's a dog. You know what I'm saying? So, I just like to think the Warriors are going to be even better. You can't sleep on the Nuggets, who didn't have Jamal Murray, who was like their co-star to the Joker. He's going to be back healthy. So I just think the West, there's just so much competition to even make it out. Dallas Mavericks, bro, there's so much competition to even make it out. And then if you do make it out, now you're going to be playing against who? Giannis and the Bucks? That's a monster right there. The Boston Celtics, that's monster. So it just, at this point in his career, man, I would be shocked. As a Lakers fan, I would be shocked if LeBron was able to lead this team to another championship win. Especially, let's make this clear. I was so happy when the Lakers won the championship, especially the year that it happened. They did it in honor of Kobe. It was a huge year. Big. But you got to be real, though, man. The bubble was different. Now, listen, all teams were in the bubble, so I get it. It's not like it was some unfair advantage. Every team had the same opportunity, but it was just different. The reason why it worked that year for the Lakers, they got a 5 month or 4 month, whatever the time frame was, break. Which when you're an old team like the Lakers are, that helps. Perfect. LeBron gets rest in the middle of the season. AD, who's always getting hurt, gets 5 months, whatever the time frame was, to get be fresh, to get healed, to make sure he's not getting that changes things. Do I feel like the Lakers would have for sure won the championship without the bubble that year? I don't know. You saw the Miami Heat went to the chip that year in the bubble. Good team. But that particular year, if we all just keep it real, we all put a lot of test on us right now. Don't none of us believe the Miami Heat would have made the finals if it was a regular season.
Ooh, I don't know, bro.
They were not that good that year. That bubble, if you think back to the bubble, I ain't talking about the Heat now. That bubble year, bro, it was weird stuff going on in the bubble. Donovan Mitchell was averaging damn near 40-some points. Jamal Moore was averaging almost 40-some points. The young guy, what's the guy from TJ Warren from the Pacers? If you were an alien and you came from Mars and you dropped down on Earth, and the first basketball you ever saw was the bubble, you would have thought TJ Warren was Michael Jordan. That's how great he was playing in the bubble. So my point is,
buddy with the braids, right?
Buddy with the braids, and we ain't seen him since. My point is, bro, the bubble was just weird, and the Lakers, to their credit, were able, as a veteran team, were able to, stay strong throughout that crazy environment, not be able to see their family, and they were able to push through. So kudos to them. It's still a championship, but it's not the exact same. So without the bubble, without some 5-month break, I just don't see the Lakers being able to push through and win another chip in the next, 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Definitely some factual information, but I just think at the end of the day, it's LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? I just think,
of course.
Granted, you got a lot of talent, you know, in that conference that he has to face. I just think sometimes, you know, that guy make a way. He got a lot of big goals, I think, too. I think this year he'll finally be the, you know, the person who scores the most points.
He's on past Kareem. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he'll hit that. I think he only has to average almost 16 points a game to even hit
it's
that.
A no-brainer.
So with his eyes closed. So he's accomplishing a lot of things. And I think, too, this is just my thought. This is my theory. He wants to win the ring before he joins forces with his son. He wants to win a ring before Bronny gets to the league. I think Bronny
another ring. Why is that? Break that down. Like, why do you think that for?
I just think when it comes down to you know, Bronny playing with LeBron, I think LeBron will focus more so on his development and making him a really great NBA player, as to where LeBron now is like, okay, I need to win. I got to get it in right now before Bronny come into the league, and I'm gonna have to focus on Bronny. Like, I just want to play with my son, you know. And it's more so of like, I'm not playing with my son to win, but I'm playing with my son just to say that I had the chance to play with my son. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just more of a box that he needs to check in his career, and then he's good to go. So he could have Bronny on his team, and they could be as worse as the Lakers were this previous season. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he's playing with Bronny, he's good. So he wants to get into a situation where, okay, I want to win. I want to coach these guys up. I want to push them. But when I'm with my son, I want to just be playing with my son, and I want to, you know, make him, you know, one of the best in the league before I, you know, decide to lead the league. So that's just
a
my
good
theory.
point. No, that's a good point, though. That's a good point. Like, his focus would just be a little different at that point. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I know. Didn't Ken, you're the baseball guy. Didn't Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. play together?
Yeah,
they played together. Yeah, so. Yeah, I could definitely see that, man. I'm not a father yet, but like, you got a chance to play with your kid, man. That's dope. That's dope as hell. So forget winning. Like, I'm playing out here with my son. My son, you know what I'm saying? I threw my son out in the NBA game. That's crazy.
You can't get that. You can't get that nowhere else.
Man. So we shall see, man. We shall see what happens, man. We've seen crazier things. So, sticking with sports, man. Bolo, you actually had an interesting topic that you added in last minute to the document, man. So I actually want to talk about this one, man. Go ahead and tell the people what it's about, and we're going to dive into it.
Yeah, so man, I was having this conversation at work, y'all, man, and obviously we know NCAA, how big of a change we've seen the previous years with the NIL, with the transfer portal, in football specifically. You know, these kids coming in making so much money. We also seen, you know, in the NBA where, you know, these college kids, you know, our kids coming out of high school, you know, going over to play in the G League. So they're not going to school, and maybe they're going to play some extra basketball, you know, in these off-charted areas, and then they're going to the NBA off the rip, right? So for me, I do, in my opinion, think that college football and basketball is taking a hit because of those different decisions and because of those new rules. But my question to you, Darnell, is who's taking the biggest hit? Is it college basketball, where you have kids who aren't even going to college, they're just going to the G League, then the league, or you have the college side of things, football side of things, where NIL deal, kids are making so much money, or hey, if I get into an argument with you, I'm transferring. And I looked at a stat, Darnell, here more recently. As of 2021, there were 4,084 Division I players that entered the transfer portal. Okay, wow. So damn near 4,100 kids that entered the transfer portal. And I also looked at a stat that said that more than 50% of those athletes who enter the transfer portal go unsigned.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
Who's taking the biggest hit?
Man, that's a tough question, man, and a great debate to have, you know, a great topic, I guess, to have here on the porch. Right now, I still would say I think college football is taking the biggest hit, because it just feels like, and maybe it's because simply there's more players on a football team compared to a basketball team, but it just seems like you see so many more football players transferring just on the regular. Soon as one year doesn't go well, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? And also, to some of these players' credit, I do understand to some degree, depending on like your position as well. Like if you're a quarterback on a team and you're like third on the depth chart, you might feel like, man, like I ain't about to play no time soon. Let me go to this other school. It might be a smaller conference or whatever, but I have a chance to fight for position right now to start. You know what I'm saying? So like I understand in some cases, whereas basketball players, I feel like I know they transfer as well, but I feel like it's not as much because it's only 12 people on the team, give or take. So even if you're not the star right now, you find you have a better chance of getting on that court sooner. So I think right now, college football is taking a bigger hit. But let me say this though, Bolo, and this is kind of in addition to your question, I am hearing rumors that in the next few years, they might go back to the old rule where basketball players can go straight from high school to the pros. They might be bringing that back. It hasn't been official yet, but I'm hearing that they might go back to that in the next few years. So in the event that happens, my argument is going to shift and change to basketball. Right now, you are right. There are players who will skip college and go straight to like overseas. There's players that's going to the G League. But for the most part, Bolo, I feel like most of the stars are still going to college at least for 1 year, and then they'll go into the draft. It's something about like some of them college universities that, you know, the Dukes of North Carolina, just the history that you still want to be a part of. And because in basketball, again, you only have to go to college for 1 year. So it's like, all right, go to college for 1 year, you know, get average grades, and I'm going to go to the league. Whereas football, a little different. Football, like, school you go to, like, you got to be in college for 3 years before you got a chance to go to the league. So it's a more of an actual commitment. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think right now it's more so on the football side.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm the same way. I think football is taking off, y'all. Like, football it's a circus in NCAA right now. With kids, before you touch down, you know, you paid this amount of money. And then I just happened to hear that with the NIL deals, it is not based on performance. So if I cut you a check and you underperform, that does not mean I am not getting paid. You are still cutting me that check for whatever it was, even if I go out and throw 7 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? So
some player was at LSU, one of their quarterbacks. He say he's done playing football. Like he didn't win the battle, and he's still keeping his NIL. I can't remember the kid's name though. Yeah,
he lost that position. He lost the quarterback battle, and he, you know, he's done, and he kept the bread. So
Miles Brennan, Miles Brennan. He basically retired from football. Said he was done. He was like a 6-year senior, and he kept that bread though. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Player, you know what I mean? So, but I also think too that, like, you know, these NCAA, you know, these games in college, you know, on the basketball side, you fill a lot of seats when you get some of those top tier athletes to come to your school. So, you know, if this is becoming like a common theme of like kids skipping college to go to the G League or go overseas, I can just see these schools losing a lot of money with just fans coming to the game and coming to support and watch, you know, their favorite schools, because, you know, you won't have the number 2, number 3 are the top 25 players in the country playing college basketball. You know what I'm saying? So I can just see the you know, NCAA basketball taking a hit, you know, financially, because people aren't investing in it and, you know, willing to pay money to come see. You know, players are still good regardless, don't get me wrong, but Zion Williams, just imagine if Zion Williams didn't go to Duke and went overseas or something. Duke would have still been Duke, but I guarantee you the revenue wouldn't have been what it was when he was playing for Duke.
I agree to that. So I agree and I disagree. So the part I disagree on, I don't think the actual in-person fans at the games would shift too much, because you got to think some of these schools have so much tradition. Like a Duke, true. It could be 5 of us on the court. They're going to pull up because they just want to. Yeah. That tradition is so great. But where they do lose money at is the TV revenue.
Yeah, TV revenue.
I know myself, man. I'm a very loose college basketball fan. Like, if you're not like a prominent name at this point, I'm gonna be real. I'm not an avid watcher of college basketball per se. But like you mentioned, Zion Williamson, when he was at Duke, best believe I was watching him and checking him out every time he was playing. A different energy, you know what I'm saying? So I do agree that I think financially, the college basketball side takes more of a hit, but more so on the TV revenue than the actual in-person fans.
Facts. I'm with it. But we definitely got to hear what y'all think. We want to hear what y'all think, right? Who takes the bigger hit? Is it NCAA basketball or NCAA football when it comes to NIL deals and people getting paid and transfer portal, or, you know, people in basketball, you know, taking their talent to the G League or going overseas and skipping college, you know, in general?
We didn't have many options, man. You was playing Bolo. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
hey, get it done.
Hey, get the job done.
You get cursed out. You know what I mean? Lose your spot in the fall. We ain't about to transfer. You got to try to work to get your spot back.
Right. You know, I mean, you could transfer, but it was so much more complicated.
So many hoops. so many hoops to get to transfers. You don't even want to waste your time.
Not at all, man. So, hey, shout out to y'all youngest, man. I guess take control
it.
of y'all lives, but make sure you're making the right decision, man. Don't be moving off emotion. Don't be moving so quick. Sometimes it's okay to go through a rocky mountain before you get to that promised land, so to speak. You got to go through some struggle. They ain't say it's gonna be easy. You know what I mean? So fight through it sometime. But let's move on to our quick hitters, man. Our doorbell segment. So we're gonna do some this or that. We're going to make it a little different this time. We got the Chicago or Indy option of this or that. So it's about to be a little fun right here, man. Huh? What's wrong, Bolo?
I seen a couple questions here, and I can't believe he even put this question on here for us to answer, Porch family.
Well, let's get straight to it then, man. Let's get straight to it. The first question. Who has the better chicken, Chicago or Indy? I'm going with Indy.
On what basis, sir? How can you factually prove that Indy has better chicken than Chicago?
Our actual flavor of our chicken and the amount of hood spots we got in the city is better than the chicken spots y'all got. Are you gonna throw out this hair and it's y'all sauce?
No.
Ain't the chicken?
No. First off, the thing about the advantage that I have is I currently live in Indy, so I have adapted and I'm able to taste a lot of different foods and a lot of different chicken places here in Indy. I grew up in Chicago, so I was able to, indulge and have a lot of different chicken spots there as well. Every chicken spot in Indy tastes the same. You got Sharks, you got Jordans, you got Fishers. All those chicken spots taste the same, and y'all put all the same butter, sauce,
and it be
fries,
fire.
The same. All that shit say the same.
It be fire.
It be decent, but ain't nothing like Harold's Chicken and Uncle Remus.
Now put me on game. You said Uncle Remy. I'm gonna be real. I don't know about Uncle Remy. I know about Harold's. Harold's is good and fire. The sauce is what really makes it over the top. But what's Uncle Remy's? Put me on game.
Uncle Remus. So. You get a little butter roll. Ooh, you know what I mean? Okay. You get some homemade fried chicken. They don't even put it on the chicken. It's on the side. Fries be bang. I'm just trying to tell you.
We talking about the chicken. Don't try to make it sound good with the bread and the fries and the ketchup and
everything. The chicken is off the chain, y'all. All right. I eat that shit off the floor. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to tell you that every piece of chicken in Indy tastes the same from every spot, every hood spot, every little franchise chain.
All right? Don't give me that. I disagree. You're going to look too far now.
From Harold's Chicken to Uncle Remus, fire. Fire. Case closed, y'all. This is not even a debate.
Man, all right, let's move on to the next one then, because I agree, disagree. We can be on here all day. Next one. I know we're going to be on the same page with this one. Who has the better professional sports teams, Chicago or Indianapolis? Stop playing me, Bolo.
First off, y'all don't even have a baseball.
Stop playing me, Bolo.
Y'all don't even have a baseball team. Y'all have a AAA team, the Indians.
Okay.
So we got the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs, dog. Like, what?
Porch listeners, y'all see how he went to baseball immediately. You want to know why? Because he know the Bears ain't messing with my coach. Ain't no competition.
I ain't even get there yet.
You couldn't get there. What you gonna get there and do?
The only basis you got, the Pacers sorry as hell. So they damn near on the same level as my Chicago Bulls. So I'm gonna go with Bulls off the rip. Only thing y'all talk about with the Chicago Bulls is Reggie Miller, and then when y'all had Paul George. That's it. When we live off old hopes and dreams.
The same thing the Bulls have, Michael Jordan. He ain't played since before we was born damn near.
I'm just trying to tell you, we had an MVP too, and Derrick Rose.
And I love Derrick Rose, but it didn't account for nothing, respectfully.
I'm just trying to let y'all know, but y'all don't make nothing happen. People don't even want to go to y'all games, bro. Y'all be selling games for $10 to $15 to sit on the floor.
That's because it's Indiana. Cost of living is low. You know that. Don't disrespect.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say, even in other rural areas where cost of living is low, if it's a good team, people gonna pay to go watch.
Well, how about this, Bo? Let me ask you this question: What happened in 2006 in Miami on that rainy day, that rainy night? Huh? What happened in 2006 in Miami on that rainy night?
There you go,
Rex Grossman.
There you go.
Urlacher, what happened?
That's the only thing you can say is that you guys won the Super Bowl against Chicago.
When it matters the most. What happened?
And that's fine. You guys won that game. I'll give that to you. You guys won the championship. You guys had Peyton Manning. All right, we had Rex Grossman. So that's that.
No excuse, just produce.
Overall, we were the better team. We just so happened to lose that night, unfortunately. But I'm still putting my Bears against the Indianapolis Colts any day. We'll kick y'all ass.
Are y'all on the schedule this year? I'm gonna have to check the schedule. I'm gonna check the schedule. So. Y'all better not be. It's gonna be an ass whipping. That would be a homecoming game if we was in high school. We put y'all on our schedule.
See, that's what I'm saying, y'all. See,
he didn't like that one, y'all. Let's move on to the next one. Let's move to the next one.
Man. Yeah, y'all not even on the schedule. Y'all lucky.
Who has the better looking people, Chicago or Indy? Overall, better looking people.
I'm biased. I'm gonna be real. My wife is from Indy, so I gotta be biased.
I put some pressure on you.
Gotta be careful I answer that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, the Windy City, man, we got a lot of beautiful people inside out in Indy. In Chicago, but there are a lot of beautiful people in Indy as well. Like I said, I met my wife in Indy, so I will be biased. So I'm not going to answer that question. I would say that Indy has, better looking people than Chicago, but keep in mind that I did meet my wife, and she happens to be from Indy. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, listen, I'm not biased. My girl from Detroit, so I can answer this, pretty fairly. Obviously, I'm from Indianapolis, born and raised. We got some beautiful people, man. Shout out to all my people. I've been in Chicago, though. And I'm gonna keep it real, man. I mean, listen, I'm not blind to what I see, and I have to get Chicago the edge overall.
And to Chicago's point, there's more people in Chicago, and right. There's also like a more of a variety, if that makes sense.
There you go, buffet, so to speak.
Yeah. So, obviously, with Chicago being as big as it is and so many different people from all type of walks of life, generally they will always have the upper hand. So
I love how you answered that, Bolo. I love it. That was smooth. Yeah. That was smooth. We got two more for you, man. All right, next one. Who has the better nightlife, Chicago or Indy? Think about it for a minute before you answer. We're both a little older now. You know what I'm saying? I'm 28. Are you 30 right now, Bolo, if I'm not mistaken?
Hey, bro, let me giving out my age. Yeah, your boy is 30.
So when I ask you who has a better nightlife, you gotta answer this question in the context of where you're at today. So now,
that's real. And to that point as well, I honestly, when I left for college, I will go back and kick it sometimes. So I haven't really indulged in like the adult life in Chicago like I should have. Just because I live in Indy now. But Indy, I think I appreciate Indy just because of its size. So, I mean, who I am. For the Porch family who don't know, like growing up, I used to love just a lot of people, right? And as you get older, you become a little bit more reserved where, you kind of just like, to kind of know your surroundings a little bit more, kind of, move a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? So Indy does provide that necessity there where you're able to kind of maneuver and move around how you want to. You can go to specific places and not be shoulder to shoulder but still have a good time. Same for Chicago too, though. Like even when I'm living through some of my friends and stuff who go out in Chicago, there are a lot of day brunches in Chicago that go crazy. I don't think Indy has been brought up to speed as much with like the kind of the usual day brunches that happen all the time. I think they'll eventually get there. But with Chicago just being, the shy downtown, like it's always bussing, you know what I mean? So it's always going to be, live, each and every weekend because there's just so many different places, so many things to do. So I'm going to just go ahead and say Chicago just because I just know that it's always rocking.
I agree with you, man. I was sitting there thinking, kind of going back and forth in my head. I would say overall, you got to go with Chicago just because of the variety of options to have. The downtown life is crazy. You go out there in March doing like St. Patty's Day, like weekend is crazy out there. So they go hard. For me, though, from where I'm at today, like which nightlife would I prefer on the regular?
On the regular,
I would go more to Indy because of just where I'm at today. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like you said, it's a little bit more chill. You still got some nights and stuff where they can turn up. Don't get me wrong, and they can really get wild. But at the same time, I feel like it's just a more of a chiller vibe.
It's more controlled environments.
More controlled environment in comparison to Chicago. So now, if you asked me this when I was 22, 23, I was not even a conversation. Yeah, it's Chicago, easy. So.
Easy.
We getting old out here, Bolo.
We getting old, man.
But last one, man. Last one. Who has the better high school football programs, Chicago or Indianapolis?
Football programs.
I'll put them in a tough predicament. If y'all are new listeners to the Porch, Bolo, like he said, grew up in Chicago, which means he played football in Chicago, but he now coaches in Indianapolis. So I don't know how he's going to answer this. So I'm going to go first.
You know what? I mean, I've been coaching here in Indy for about 5 years, and like I said, I listen to all the coaches and listen to the history and different players that come through Indiana to go on and go to college and stuff like that. I will say, Indy for sure, but I think Chicago is getting there though. And when I mean Chicago, you gotta think I'm talking about Chicago. I'm not talking about Illinois. I'm talking about like CPS. Like Chicago public schools, and I'm talking about the Catholic schools within the city of Chicago, not the suburbs, not downstate Illinois. I'm talking about Chicago. So when it comes to the city of Chicago's football programs versus Indianapolis programs that are in Indianapolis, it's a huge difference. The program size, the resources that people have in Indiana versus Chicago is different, y'all. Like when I came to Indy the first time, like they had like screens that you can touch to watch film on and shit. Like everybody had designated film rooms. They had the nice, crazy state of the art, weight rooms that look bigger than some colleges, right? These stadiums that look, similar to some D2, D3 universities, right? For my listeners who, play football in Chicago, CPS, right? We barely had, a nice size room that had 2 flatbed benches in there with dumbbells that matched, right? So we used to run on 3rd floor for track practice, where this team in Indiana, they got an indoor track facility. So the resources and all that stuff, I think football is starting to get a little bit more serious in Chicago, but for Indiana, I think, since the beginning of time, they have always taken it serious. So I'll probably have to get an upper hand to Indy on that one, especially if y'all don't know, man, the mid-conference, man, the Indianapolis, man, is probably one of the toughest conferences in the country, probably top 10, one of the top 10 most toughest conferences in the country. The output of kids going Power 5 schools, the just the level of competition that you'll see week in and week out, you don't get that. You don't get that because when I was playing in CPS, bro, we used to be putting up 70 points on people. And it wasn't that, I think we were really good, but it was just sometimes that other teams were just really bad. And in the mid-conference, even though you'll beat up on some teams, you ain't seeing people really get done bad like that because everybody is essentially good. Even like the lowest of the lowest team in the mid-conference is probably usually pretty good. So that's just my opinion.
I ain't got too much to add to that, man. Like, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I've been saying it from the beginning of time, man. Indiana football is a little different. A lot of the outsiders who are not blessed with opportunity to actually live in Indy and coach like you are, they sleep on Indy. They think Indy is just known for basketball, you know what I'm saying? Because of the Hoosiers and things like that. And I get it. We are definitely a basketball state as well. But Peyton Manning, I will say, really changed the culture in Indiana with football. I think he's a huge respect has to go to Peyton Manning and those early year coaches. To a lot of us youngins just loving the game and wanting to play football, just seeing how great the coach were for so long. And yeah, man, the culture just different, man. Like, shout out to Dub C, man. They starting the season off, man. Far East Side. You know how we get down, man.
Now, before we end the show, though, I'm gonna go ahead and be a little messy here, bro.
All right.
Say who has the better high school basketball programs. Now that's when the game changes. Now
it may not change. I don't know.
The city of Chicago, when it comes to the output, bro, when it comes to the talent in Chicago of people going to the next level and balling, bro, Chicago hands down. But I'm gonna leave it at that though. I don't want to argue.
Look, you see, he's trying to end on a note. He's trying to end on a note
that Chicago basketball surpasses Indiana basketball any day of the week.
Chill out, stop it. You ain't about to just go out there and try to leave on a positive. He felt bad for his Chicago people, so he wanted to end on a positive note, man.
Let y'all know that. Hey,
it's very competitive. It's very competitive.
We growing in football, but basketball has always been our thing. I'm just
bro. Indiana, are you crazy? Basketball? What are you talking about? That's all we do is hoop,
bro. I understand what you, and all we do is hoop.
Bro, stop playing with me, bro.
Come on, bro. Stop.
Nah,
don't do,
bro. Y'all make beats and shit, yo. Like we hoop, bro. We grew up hooping, bro. Basketball was my first love.
Come on, bro.
You wasn't out on the blacktop for real playing basketball with the old hits. You was hooping, bro. I can tell by the way your hat.
Small fry, United Center. Playing on the small rims, running down the court. First bucket was a layup. Boom, ran down the field with my hands up. Ran down the court with my hands up.
The field. You heard he said.
Because I'm locked in with football all the time.
Man, listen. You ain't from the hood, bro. I grew up hooping in the milk crate. Take the bottom out the milk crate, hang it up to the fence, and hoop on the milk crate.
Hey, milk crate, tire. We hang up a hanger on the door.
You ain't never I don't gotta use that. You ain't never, Bolo, look at me in my eye.
Brother, we can vouch for it.
You ain't never put the hanger up. You ain't never put the hanger up in the door, close the door, use the shoestring as the net. You ain't never did that. Hoop with the socks.
We ain't have no net. I ain't putting no net.
Hoop with the socks.
We should get one big ass sock, stuff them to make it one big ball, and we should let it ride. Come on, bro. Just trying to tell you.
I'm just saying, man. I grew up in Far East Side, jigging like a fool, so we grew up a little different.
We talking about jigging like a fool.
I like a
Somehow
fool.
we always get to jigging like a fool on the Far East Side.
You gotta represent where I'm from, man. I don't care if I'm in LA, the Bay, Chicago, man. Never forget where I come from, man. But this is the Porch Podcast, man. You just tuned into another fire episode, man. It's your boy Big Smeeze, my boy Bolo right here. Make sure you subscribe every once in a while. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Shopify, Notify, Quantify, Anyfy. We everywhere. Download it. YouTube channel. Get the subscribers up, man. Get the subscribers up. Tell your cousin and your mama and they'll subscribe right now.
Cousin them on everything. And you already know every time we leave y'all, man, y'all got to understand that the best you
is the best you, and we out. Peace.
Started on the porch, that was where it all began. Had to put in work, every day we got it in. We chased all our dreams and now they can't believe it. We make it look easy, we achieving everything we need. Now we undefeated.
Presented by Bet Online.